everybody. Today we have a special guest called Atrus.
Me.
He has kindly decided to be in my video and talk about our relationship just a little bit and what it's like being married to me, and I'll talk a bit about my perspectives of our marriage. And pre and post diagnosis. We just want to enlighten you a bit. So, what's it like being married to me before diagnosis?
Do you want to know the answer to that? No, before diagnosis wasn't too bad. Although it depends on the timing. Before diagnosis, for the first 3 years of our marriage, wasn't too bad, because we didn't have Possum along, and she wasn't overstimulated with everything, and we didn't really know that she had anything particular at that stage, but yeah, it was manageable. Still little annoyances, but of course, not knowing what those annoyances are is something difficult to handle. Whereas after diagnosis, which I'm guessing is your next question.
Yes, what was it like being married to me after diagnosis?
It's better in that I understand what you're doing with all of the things you're asking me for, or just the direction you're coming from.
You understand me better.
Yes, I understand you better.
You understand why I do these things.
However, at the present moment, it's very difficult being married to you at the moment.
I know.
Post-diagnosis.
You put up with so much.
Yes.
I do.
A lot. But we manage, and it's I know that it's not a permanent thing, although I know that the overall change is going to be a permanent thing. We're just going through a difficult stage at the moment. It's a growing time for us both. Transition period.
It's a transition period. Yes, so it has been difficult for us past year and a bit. Well, since Possum was born, it has been quite difficult for us. It was a real stressful transition time, and I didn't cope. Obviously, having my breakdown, and Atrus bore the brunt of it. He's been a real huge help and support to me. I don't know what I'd do without him. Yeah, so it's been tough. And even like pre-diagnosis, before I knew and realised I was on the spectrum, there were times where I would have like meltdowns and I didn't know what it was, and I'd be just raging at him over things, and he'd be like, what? And I'd be like,
I didn't do anything.
You know, just raging and aggro and over seemingly ridiculous things, and I didn't know why, and he didn't know why, and then it would turn into this massive argument because he would get defensive, and I would be feeling like melty and having meltdown, and he would be defensive. And you'd be defensive. And then I'd get defensive, and it would be just like this massive, vicious cycle
back and forth.
But since my diagnosis, we don't get that as much now because we both recognise that instead of trying to, butt heads about it, we take a break. I take a break, calm down, and then I come back and go, blah, 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 and I calm away and talk about it, and it's so much better that way.
And sometimes I take a break as well if she doesn't take a break.
Yeah, if I'm insistent and persisting with the matter, and he'll be like, okay, I need a break, and I'll get upset, and because I'm in a vulnerable.
Easy to take a break.
No, because I'm in like a vulnerable state. Sometimes I just need him there to help me calm down, And he's just like, I can't take this anymore, I need a break. And so he takes a break, and I can get really, that can trigger me even more. And I'll just get more ragey and follow him, and he'll be like, oh my gosh, leave me alone.
I'll be like, stop talking.
And I'll be like,
too
but
much.
I need you to listen, I need you
I
to
know.
listen. Anyway, we get it stuck into that. We're trying to work on it. But we are, overall, I feel like we're a lot more understanding of each other, and I used to be really controlling about things, like really controlling. I'm not as controlling now. Like, I used to have to control everything, like, about how the house was run. This was before Possum was born, and how he did things, like, because if he wasn't doing enough housework, I'd be like, get like all crazy about it. And he would be like, what? Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
And I didn't know why I was so controlling. And other people noticed it in our lives, like his family, my siblings, our friends, and his brothers were like, why is she so controlling? And they thought I was this like real dominant, crazy woman who'd had to control everything. And no one understood. And for me, it comes from anxiety. It's an anxiety-based control. And I just had to control everything in my life, including him, to the point that he was just like a little puppet.
I'm still a bit of a puppet.
I'm trying to let it go.
Like a servant or a slave.
He is, and I hate it, and I'm aware of it now. And I'm trying to sort of empower him more to do his own things instead of me being so controlling about everything. So I'm quite self-aware of these things, but so often I just feel quite helpless to change it. But we talk about it and we work on it, and I'm learning to be, to let things go more and not be so controlling about everything, and particularly him. Because he needs to have a life too, and he needs to have a personality and do his own thing. And I had real trouble letting him go and do that, because I wanted to manage his entire life for him. That's how bad it was before diagnosis.
Yes.
So, yeah, diagnosis really helped me to become more self-aware and to let things go and to learn to let things go. And now we're on to the next thing. What are the positives of our relationship?
I think one positive is that Kez is very open and willing to learn and change. I see that as a benefit because she's... I've seen and heard of other relationships with people with Asperger's that don't go so well, and everybody struggles, and they just have fights constantly, and there's no give or take. It's just all throwing at each other. Nobody's willing to change, but Keza is, which is good. She's constantly looking for new ways to do things, and I don't know if it is the obsessive thing that she's got. It seems that all Aspies have some sort of obsession with something, but Kez's obsession is just getting as much information about something as possible and applying it to herself.
Yeah, I tend to do that. But other women that I know on the spectrum and in the relationships they're in, a lot of them are like me, where they do try... I think women on the spectrum tend to be more open and willing to learn, but men on the spectrum tend to be very set in their ways. That's a bit of an assumption, but that's just what I've noticed with the Aspie women friends I've got. So, it's not just me.
No.
Other women too.
Good.
So positive, what are the positives of our relationship? Oh, he's a big positive, obviously. Being so...
Am I?
Yes,
That's
you're...
good.
Being so... understanding of me. You know, he's extremely understanding of me. Like, just... He accepts me as I am unconditionally most of the time. There are a couple of things where he struggles with, like we mentioned before, when I just get so insistent and persistent with needing to be heard and validated, and he's just like, I need a break. and I can't handle that boundary, and I need to learn to respect that. I'm learning to. But most of the time he's like, he gets me and he doesn't judge me and just puts up with all my crazy ideas and all the random things I do. He's really understanding.
Yes.
And I'm incredibly grateful for that. Like, I don't know what I'd do without him.
Should be very, very taking as well as, well, a lot of take and forgive.
Yes. He has to put up with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I often feel quite bad about that. Like, I feel like I need to be able to give back in some ways, and I'm trying to learn. Now, since my breakdown, I haven't been able to give much, but I'm trying to learn to be able to give more back to our relationship and back to him, instead of just take. Because he's very much a giver and a pleaser, and I've noticed that. And he'll just give, and nothing for himself. And I'm not like that. I can be a bit of a taker, and I do try and give, but I struggle with remembering to give. Even though I'm quite empathetic and caring, I struggle with remembering to get out of my little head, out of my little zone world in my head, and connect with people. What are the
one more positive with Keza is that she says sorry. After she has a meltdown or something, or we have an argument or something, she's often the first one to come and say, "Oh, look, I'm sorry for what I've just done, for my meltdown," and so on and so forth, which is really good, because for neurotypical, I know that it can be really difficult sometimes to take the blame for an argument, especially if it seems like the other person's the one that's caused it, and that's what it seems like a lot.
That you've caused it.
No, that you've caused it, and that I expect that you need to say sorry, but sometimes it is me that has caused it, and I just think it's you that's done it, and I just let that happen.
My brain's sort of exploding over that. I don't really know. I don't pick up on all that stuff. He picks up on it more than I do. He's not neurotypical though. I'm sorry, but you're not.
Whatever you say. Yes, dear. That gets us through a lot of things.
No.
She doesn't like that idea.
I want you to have your own say.
Yes.
I'm not as controlling as I used to be. What are the negatives?
Manipulative.
I'm not.
That's the answer to your last question. Then.
What are the negatives to our relationship?
Yes. Well, manipulative. You can be manipulative.
I know I can be.
She's not controlling anymore as much as she used to be, but manipulative she can be. I don't know if she realises that.
I know. I don't know. Am I? I don't even know. I'm not even aware of it.
No. I'm slowly picking up on it a little bit more and more all the time. But it's... it could be just perspective too. That I do get a lot of outside influence from other people, and they have their own views on the whole situation. And
assume.
Yes, exactly. There are
hugely.
Lots of assumptions. Yes. That Keza has her own hidden agendas and I don't know, whatever else.
First I knew about it.
Just that you're controlling and that sort of thing. But that's something that I need to filter. I need to work out what is realistic and what is just completely based on assumption.
Well, I definitely don't control you because I want to.
Is this manipulative right now?
No.
Brainwashing me now. No.
You're freaking me out! It's freaking me out! Don't do that!
Sorry.
I hate it!
I'm sorry.
It's scaring me. I don't understand it.
No, it's okay. I'm the one that has to deal with it. You're in your own little world. So.
See, he does this thing, and I don't get it, and then I'm confused, and he assumes that I'm manipulative and got an agenda, and I don't.
No, it could be taken that way.
It is taken that way by others, and I really get frustrated by it, because They don't understand, and they don't know what it's like to be me. He doesn't even know what it's like to be me, but he does make an effort to understand, which I really appreciate. I think that's made the huge difference with our marriage, that we've been able to understand, that he understands me and is willing to work with me, and I'm, open, and I'm open. We're both open-minded and willing to learn and grow as people. Like, we challenge each other. I'll challenge him on things I can see that he needs to work on, and he'll challenge me. And both of us are open to those challenges. We don't go, oh my gosh, no. We're like, okay, I can see that now. It's hard for me to accept that, but I'm willing to learn and grow together and individually. Mm-hmm. And negatives, what? I
haven't really said any negatives yet.
Oh, that was...
that was a negative, yes.
Okay.
It was sort of indirectly, well, one indirect negative was that outsiders are an influence as well.
Why do you let them influence you, though? It shouldn't matter. It's our relationship. It's none of their business.
And jumping to quick conclusions on things as well is another negative.
That's not a negative. That wasn't a negative.
I hadn't even finished what I was saying anyway.
I always interrupt him like that and assume, and he gets annoyed.
Yeah. And repetitive things, saying the same thing in many different ways, just over and over and over and over again. You've probably seen it in a lot of her blogs and things. That's why they go for so long. Other negative things. I don't know at this stage. You can say stuff if you want to.
Can I open my mouth now?
You can.
God, it was very hard to keep it shut.
I can believe it.
he gets sick of me talking.
Oh yes. Tiredness is a bad time to have any sort of meltdown or argument. Or hunger. There's particular triggers that we have to watch for. One is hunger. First thing in the morning is really bad. Last thing at night is really bad. She's hungry in the morning and she's tired in the evening.
Yeah. I can be pretty rare at those time of the days.
Yeah.
Those times of the day. Oh my gosh, I said it wrong. I was going to say something about the repeating oneself.
Yeah.
For me, I've explained this to you. It's actually a way of processing.
I know.
And saying it many different ways helps me understand it in my own mind, and to hear it back from you, and because sometimes I have to say it so many times and I don't even know why. I feel this need to say it like 4 or 5 times to feel like I'm finally heard.
I think
and that's frustrating when he tells me to stop talking and I'm like, but I need to say it a few more times. It's this need.
I know. I understand that. But that's a negative as well, is that I hear, well, everybody does it as well, if they hear something more than 1 or 2 times, they generally assume that they've accepted it and they shut it all out. They just block out anything more. I do that, yes. It's something, it's very difficult to do it any other way. Just have to... I can't really break through it most of the time. It just gets really annoying because she says the same thing. I get it. I'm fairly sure that I get it after 2 or 3 times. But no, she just has to keep saying it. Even though I say I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it. I know, it's a processing thing. Yes. It's a processing thing, yes.
Stop it! You're a tease.
You tell me that over and over and over again.
What?
That it's a processing thing.
Yes.
Yes, and I hear it regularly, very regularly, and I get it.
He does
it's
get
that
it.
I can't do the processing of
It's the
that
thing in
yet.
his head that goes, I can't deal with this. It's too repetitive for me.
Yeah.
It's nothing. So he gets it in the heart level, but not in the head level. I'll stop messing my hair up. It's annoying.
Oh, your hair's messy anyway.
You're a tease.
I know.
What?
That's it.
No, I was going to say something about negatives.
Okay.
I'm going to think if there is anything I need to add, because I think we've pretty much covered all of our negatives.
Oh, there's probably plenty more. There's lots of negatives. But the positives are that we can work through the negatives together.
I'm just pulling silly faces. This is just going to crack me up. I'm going to end up in hysterics over this. You're cracking me up. No, I think that's all I need to say. Like, we basically try and work together, and we recognise that there are going to be times where it's going to suck, and we're going to be angry and grumpy at each other, and then there'll be times where it's good, and we're fine with that, and we just go with the flow most of the time. I'm a lot more willing to go with the flow. Stop it! You're such a tease. I can't remember what I was going to say now.
Oh well.
You're so annoying in that respect, but it's funny. What was I going to say?
Remember. You'll remember.
I need to stop laughing, otherwise I won't be able to be serious. No. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm more go with the flow now. I used to be really uptight and had to control everything, but now I'm starting to say stuff it more. And just embrace life.
Much to my frustration.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, it can just sometimes your acceptance of life sort of does away with a lot of the everyday things, and I am left to deal with those.
Acceptance of life. What do you mean?
Oh, like
example would help.
Cleaning up after you and stuff. Your acceptance of life is that we're all, you know, people that live in pigsties and stuff.
I
don't do any work.
I don't think that. I just
No.
think, well, so I don't feel like cleaning up now.
Yeah.
It's good to just go stuff it. It's a good lesson in letting go for me to not clean up. And and just go, I'm going to ignore this urge to clean up that I feel. And I'll just let it go. And when I do, because sometimes I don't feel like cleaning up, I'll look at it and go, oh my gosh, that mess is just, I don't want to clean up. I'm going to do it later. And so I let it go. And then I come back to it and I go, okay, now I feel motivated and I'm going to do it now. And it doesn't even last that, it's not like days.
It just doesn't come often.
I kept the house quite clean while you were away.
I'm sure you did.
Thank you. And
Yes,
I did a lot
but when
of
I'm here,
organising.
you don't.
Yeah, because I get exhausted by parenting. And overwhelmed and overstimulated by my son, by Possum. He's a very full-on child. And he's definitely a little Aspie, I reckon.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes. So, yeah, I'd love to hear from other couples on the spectrum. How do your relationships work? What are your difficulties? What are the positives? What are the negatives? And those who are diagnosed and didn't realise until you're married, did it change your relationship for the better or worse? Is your partner being understanding and accepting of your relationship or not? And I'm really curious to know. So I hope you enjoyed our little segment about our relationship. And I hope it was insightful and interesting and funny as well. And I would like to thank my amazing, patient, kind, caring, supportive, understanding Atrus for being a guest and coming to speak so openly about our relationship. I appreciate it.
It's okay.
So, thank you everybody. Hope you enjoyed this. Bye bye!
See ya.